How are you, Coach?
I'm good. I'm good.
Uh, Hold on, Coach. After our interview, I'll upload it on YouTube kasi may mga ibang latecomers na hindi makakanood ng live. They'll
Okay.
watch it. And as I understand, the NBA, they're keeping tabs on this one. We shared with them the channel, kasi we're trying to also get NBA coaches.
Okay.
And sabi ko, look, kasi if they're asking bakit ang konti ng audience nyo. Sabi ko, hindi naman pang fans to pang coaches to.
Okay.
There's a difference, I said. No? Okay, Coach. Here we go. All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Pilipinas. Welcome to another edition of Usapang, Coach. Tonight, we have a bemedaled and multi-titled coach who seems to have won on every level. And this person we're going to be talking to, he's also a noted basketball player, and he belongs to one of those pioneering youth teams, the fabled Northern Consolidated Cement squad that was put together by the late Danding Coangco. Now, this man, I've keenly followed him even when he was playing in the PBA, and I was a kid. And he struck me as a no-nonsense person, but he was cerebral, and I like that. And later on, when he became the coach of my alma mater in Ateneo, I was very, very happy that he led us to the promised land back after 14 years. No? And this man has gone on to win more titles. And he is a respected figure in the coaching community, a man of, he's also apprenticed with some great minds like Tim Cohn. So, this guy's pedigree, it's incredible. Without further ado, the great Joel Banal. Coach, good evening.
Oh, good evening, Rick. Good evening to all the viewers and listeners.
All right, Coach, before anything else, how are you during this time of pandemic and what has kept you busy?
We're good. Well, I retired in 2012, right, in active professional coaching. But I was a consultant to several teams. I was Cholas in Bataan Risers in the MPBL. I was consultant to Marinerong Filipino in the D-League, and I was consultant to Mapua in the NCAA. So in that sense, I was still active, but not on a everyday practice level, right? So having said that, during the pandemic, it's like I was already retired as a professional coach, so like being locked down in quarantine really is not really affecting me that much, honestly.
Coach, you mentioned that you've been a consultant for numerous teams. What is preventing you from scratching that coaching itch, that head coaching itch once more, Coach?
Well, okay. I've said this to probably close friends, because it's this question is often asked to me, and I tell them that if something excites me, I may come back, right? So I'm not really like closing the door and locking it. I'm open, but as long as it excites me, so who knows?
That's very interesting. Okay, Coach, Coach Joe, before we delve into your coaching career, most recently we saw the passing of a Titan, who is none other than the Ambassador Eduardo Coangco Jr. And as I understand, you were a part of that first Northern Consolidated Cement team. And I'm gonna put up that picture right here, Coach. Ayan. For those who are wondering, where is Coach Joel Banal amongst that squad? He is the one kneeling second to the right next to Willie Pearson. Tama ba, Coach?
Correct. That's me.
Ayan. Tapos obviously you see Boss Landing right there in the middle. And to the left, to the kneeling player that is Joel Banal is si Coach Ron Jacobs.
Right.
Um, Coach Joel, what was it like, one, to be a part of this first incarnation of the national team that is Northern Consolidated? And number two, what was it like to have Boss Landing as the patron of such a program?
Well, it was a very good experience for me, under Coach Ron Jacobs. I think basketball evolved a bit, when he came over. He introduced a lot of things, even in terms of practices, in terms of hours of practices, in terms of technicals. He introduced a lot of new things, and I was very very excited because, like, I was one of the 8 local players who were chosen to join like 7 Phil Amps, during that time. So I was so excited. I was so proud because the training was in a very very high level under Coach Ron Jacobs, and plus with the uh, support of Boss Danding, it was really one of the best national teams that I was ever a part of. In terms of uh, really the support, no, food and everything. Uh, there were plans of really. That's the first time I heard that there's a plan of training in the U.S. for 2 months, no? And that really excited us local players to be able to do that during that time. Was really that was very very exciting. But something came up and it didn't push through. But still, our training with Coach Ron Jacobs during that time was really like very very high. It's a very high level.
Coach, correct me if I'm wrong. This was still the era of the Uwido coach. And obviously, Coach Ron Jacobs brought something different to the mix. Uh,
That's correct.
in your opinion, did he influence a generation of coaches, yourself included? Coach, we're talking about Coach Ron Jacobs.
Yes. Oh yeah. Well, I boast about being under a lot of coaches. No,
Mm.
from when I started as a collegiate player in Mapua, I was moved from Coach Ike Liwanag to Coach Charlie Bajon.
Mm.
In the amateurs, to Coach Nat Canson, to Coach Turo Valenzona in the national team, to Coach
Wow.
Nick Jorge in the national team, to Coach Freddie Webb in the national team. A lot. But when I was under Coach Ron Jacobs, I think it gave me a different view of the game. He revolutionized my thinking of winning and losing, of preparation. So I would say that he really influenced a great deal as far as coaching is concerned in the Philippines.
Okay, in that particular team, you also have Frankie Lim, who is
Yes,
next to Boston Ding, and he himself became a bemedal coach, no?
right.
So very, very interesting. Now, Coach, we're gonna touch on the influence of Ron Jacobs later, no? But um, at the end of your PBA career, what prompted you to go into coaching? What was the impetus to go into coaching?
Uh, okay. I got uh, an injury, Achilles tendon. No? I hurt my Achilles tendon. I tore
Yes.
it.
Yes.
So when I was recovering, a friend of mine asked for my help to coach to support his team in Camp Aguinaldo. And I said, I want to look at the team first before I say yes. So I looked at the team and I got so interested. I saw a player there who, in my mind, probably influenced my type of coaching. Because when I first coached in Mapua, it's a run and gun type of system that I was using. So when I saw this team, I saw this player, I said yes to my friend, and I tried it, and we went to the finals, lost to Coach Coy. At that time, he was a player, so we lost to his team. But that gave me something to be excited about. Uh, then I started coaching other teams. I coached in the Citibank Interbank tournament, and then the job for the head coaching position in Papua got opened. No? And at that time, I was working for the Philippine Star in the port area, and
Technical difficulties. Nawala lang si Coach Joel. Hold on a second. We should reconnect in a moment's time. You're watching Usapang Coach with Rick Olivares from Filoil Flying V Sports. Coach Joel, are you there, Coach? Coach, nawala lang si Coach. Hintayin natin. Maraming salamat sa mga nanonood. Yung kabatch ko dyan si Iggy Ramos. I think Coach Nash Racela is watching. We want to say hi to Coach Nash. Coach Joel, are you there? Technical difficulties lang po. Sandali lang po. Coach? We'll wait for Coach. Nawala lang si Coach. No? He'll be coming back in. You're watching Usapang Coach from Filoil Flying V Sports. Ako po si Rick Olivares, ang inyong host. What you've missed so far is Coach Joel Banal talking about his Northern Consolidated Cement team. He was a part of that first ever team under Coach Ron Jacobs. And he was saying that it was an eye-opener to play under Coach Ron because he was introducing all these new concepts in terms of the game, and that excited him. But we jumped ahead at the end of his PBA career and why he took up coaching. Of course, we will be addressing what he learned from Coach Ron in a bit now, but we want to establish first why he took up coaching. As you heard him say that he suffered a Achilles tendon injury in the PBA that curtailed his playing career. But he will be the one to tell you more of that. Sandali lang po. Coach Nash Racela, magandang gabi, bossing. Idol, it's good to see you and hear from you. Thank you for watching. We should have Coach Joel back in a moment. I think he's reconnecting. He's trying to get back inside the meeting room. We have some other plans here. We're trying to get a really high-profile coach that we should find out this week if we're able to land this high-profile coach that will surprise a lot of people. I don't want to spoil anything until we've gotten the green light. But itong ginagawa namin dito ni Coach Ariel Vanguardia, it's para sa mga coaches to na gustong matuto. Nandiyan yung kaibigan natin si Nelson Beltran from the Philippine Star sa dyaryo po. Ako nasa web site po ng Philippine Star. Colleague yan si Nelson Beltran. Magandang gabi, Sarge. Nawala lang po si Coach Joel Banal. Hintayin natin mag-reconnect na nawala siya sa meeting room natin. Anyway, we've just started. He was talking about his days at Northern Consolidated and then he's going to Mapua. Nagsimula pa lang tayo doon. Ayan na si Coach. Coach, all right. Coach, good to have you back in. Coach, nakamute yata yung microphone nyo.
No, it's...
Yeah, okay na.
Yeah, okay, good.
Coach, before we hear from you, pinapasabi ni Coach Nash Racela, hi, Tito Coach Joel. Ayan.
Hi, Nash.
Nanonood siya. Maraming mga nanonood. Si Jalma Arnedo, nanonood din yan. Si Jude Roque, nanonood din. No? Marami pang Nelson Beltran of the Philippine Star is watching, Coach Joel.
Oh, okay. Hi, Nelson.
All right. Coach, again, no, you were talking about Mapua. In return mo sa Mapua.
Yeah, my first tune-up game, I think it was during the foundation of Mapua. No? I played against a team, I think a selection of players, ex-players. And we got beat by 26 points. So I realized right there and then. So it was a blessing in disguise. No? I realized that, well, coaching is a serious business. So then I started really getting serious about what I'm doing. So I really studied. I really started to read books and everything. So yeah, so that early, I said, this is a serious job. So it excites me because it's a serious job.
Mhm.
It took like everything, every seriousness in me to to be able to gather myself after that beating and started going again.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's an experience that I will never forget.
Before we ask you to expound on that further, pinapasabi ni Nelson Beltran, tell Ninong Joel, ako ang first player niyang umabot sa PBA, but as a sports writer. So he played for you, Coach Joel.
Oh, actually, we're teammates. He was our
Oh,
point guard. I was playing for the Philippine Star. Yeah, I got injured. I retired. I
ah,
worked in the Philippine Star. Then we had a tournament. We had a team. So I was playing. He's our point guard.
ah,
Yeah.
yun pala to si Sarge, may tinatagong talento.
Oo,
Hindi
meron, no?
natin alam. Okay, Coach, you said that you started reading books, and it was that coaching was now a serious, serious job.
Mhm.
Um, Again, what did you was there anything that you picked up from Coach Ron, from Coach Nick Jorge, Coach Turo, and then that you distilled into your own philosophy and
Oh,
brought to
yeah.
Mapua?
Yeah, I started to trying to remember uh, well the assets of these coaches. No, I saw what Ike Liwanag brings to the table, Coach Charlie Bajon, Coach Nat Canson, and I started to like get everything that is good out of their style.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think that made me, that made me a little from this coach, a little from this coach. So I took every good thing that in my mind from their style of coaching, and
Mhm.
I incorporated it all in what I believe in. So that really like actually formed my coaching philosophy.
Coach, lahat tayo, whether you're a coach, a writer, or even an actor, a musician, we like to get influences from different people. At what point did you realize that this is my own style? Ito na. Ito na yung through trial and error, through painful losses, tulad nga ng sinabi nyo, ito na yung aking filosofiya sa basketball.
Mhm.
Did you have that moment, Coach, na ito na yun?
Uh, well, actually, I found out because when we first won the championship in Mapua, I had a very big team. No, Kevin Ramos was there, Bong
Mm.
Marasigan was there, Benny Cheng. I had a bunch of big players. No, and we we I just tried. No, so I that formed my philosophy in like maximizing what I have, no, my talent. So it's like I thought of a system that would benefit the big players that I have. No, the advantage. What advantage do I have? So I started thinking that way. No, what what do I have, and how can I maximize everyone?
Mhm.
And but the following year, we lost like six from the nucleus of the team. No, we lost from graduation. So we had a very small team. I only had Benny Cheng and Reynolds so as big man, no? And I had Ruben De La Rosa during that. So we played small and we full court press from start to finish. So that really it's like it cemented my belief that whatever you have, all you need to do is to maximize it. I
Mhm.
don't run a system like if I cannot coach this way, if I don't have this kind of personnel, then I can't coach. I'm not that type of a coach. I'm
Mhm.
the type of a coach that would, what do I have?
Right.
And then think of something that would maximize everyone. Then winning would come.
Mhm. I think that is a sign of a coach who understands and reads the situation very well and is quick to adapt. Tama ba, Coach? I think you had Jay Yulo playing for you. Si Jay, you had a player in Mapua.
I remember the name, but I I don't remember if he's part of the back-to-back champion teams.
Yeah, I think he was part, naging office mate ko yan eh.
Oh,
And, he was telling me that it was fun playing for you. Now, okay. Uh, the NCAA is known for its run and gun style. Talagang helter-skelter basketball.
okay.
Um, is that by design or is it because yun lang talagang style ng Pinoy basketball?
Well, okay. If you have like right now, no, in the NCAA, uh, let's face it, no, the better talents would go to the UAAP. It's a more popular tournament. Unlike before, when I was playing, we had Ateneo and LaSalle in the NCAA, so it was the more popular league. No? But now let's face it, like if I have talent, I would go to a team that would be the competition will be in a high level. Uh, so uh, if so, that leaves the NCAA with probably less talent, except for probably 2 or 3 teams
Mm-hmm.
that would have really a very good recruiting program.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but other than that, all the teams would have one or two, a couple of players that are very good. So we everyone would like to be as hardworking as possible. That's
Mm-hmm.
why it turns out to be a run and gun type of game.
Right.
That's my opinion.
Coach, so after your success with Mapua, leading them to back-to-back titles, and I think ang Mapua alumnus, JT Garcia says, Viva Mapua, salamat coach. Was that sort of an audition for you to get into Alaska? Ganun ba yun? O paano nangyari yun, coach? Anong scenario dyan?
Yeah, I think right after the 19, 1991 championship, the second championship, I think that was the time that Coach Chot Reyes, who was the assistant of Coach Tim,
Mm-hmm.
was asked to coach Pure Foods.
Yes.
So Coach Tim was really looking for an assistant. And he called me one day. I was at the Philippines time, and he called me and he said, "I'm going to the US tomorrow. Tomorrow night. Can we have breakfast tomorrow?" And that was a surprise. No, like, I never imagined that this early I would be tapped to be an assistant in the PBA. I thought like it would take some time to do that, but that was an opportunity I was really like thinking about. And then a friend of mine said, "What's to think about?" He said, "Just say yes." So yeah, so I said yes to Coach Timko, and that started our friendship.
All right. Obviously, Coach Tim was a disciple of Tex Winter's triangle offense. You've shown yourself so far to be a coach who can adapt to the situation. The question is, how quickly did you adapt to the triangle? And did you pick up anything from that philosophy
Yeah,
that you brought later on, let's say, to Ateneo?
yeah, but a lot of people do not know that I was already into the triangle even
Ayun.
before I joined Coach Timko. I was head coach of Arsicola in the
Hmm.
PBL, and I got Bongo, the late Bongo, to help me, and I learned so much from this guy. It's like people say that he's a walking encyclopedia of basketball. Uh, I learned a lot from him, and uh, we talked about the triangle of Tex Winton, and we were already like I was already uh, watching tapes of the Bulls and really dissecting the triangle at that time. So when I joined Coach Tim, it's like more or less I have an idea of what they were doing in Alaska.
Interesting. So was Mapua running the triangle in some
Well,
in
I never ran pure triangle. I
uh,
thought the triangle, even in Ateneo, I used the triangle because I felt like the triangle would help the players to think, look for options, read, and plus, actually, the biggest factor that, in my opinion, is it will help the big men to become good, better passers.
Right.
So that's why I have that in the system. I don't run the pure triangle, but I use it as one of the tools to develop players.
So you were a part of those great Alaska teams of the 1990s where they were winning championship after championship.
Oh yes, I was a part of that Grand Slam team.
That's right. That's right, coach. Ano,
Coach Arik also, the late Coach Arik.
that's right. Coach Arik Del Rosario din. Kaibigan din natin yung Sir Arik. What was your takeaway from that time? I mean, because people were also saying, oh, Alaska is good players eh. They have Jojo Lastimosa, Jeff Carriazo. But alam naman natin kahit may all-star team ka, that doesn't guarantee a championship.
Yeah.
So Coach Joel, what is your takeaway from that time with those players and in terms of coaching? Anong takeaway niya dyan?
Well, okay. I won't say that the triangle was the key. No? I would say that Coach Tim Cone was the key. Because we had Johnny Abarrientos, Jojo Lastimosa, and Bong Hawkins in the beginning.
Mm.
And like Coach Tim played them like 38, 40 minutes a game. That means our bench depth was not that deep. Okay, so we have Coach Tim Cohn's style is he used it during that time. He used like 7, 8, sometimes sparingly 8, 9 player. So it's his style of really using these players so much that they being in the playoffs most of the time really like push them to a level that it's made them very, very, very good. They were very good already in the amateurs, but playing so much time really made them so good in a different level. To me, my comparison is just like Dwayne Wade when he went to the playoffs more often. He became better and better and went to the different level. Just like Kobe and Michael Jordan, they were LeBron James. They were in the playoffs. They were extended and everything, and that's where you learned a lot. Like,
Right. Right.
yeah, that will make a player.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can connect the dots here. Coach Ron Jacobs was a cerebral coach, and he wanted this. I remember Yves Tignanisa telling me during when Coach Ron was with San Miguel, he made sure that they studied the rule book, that they understood the rule book, and how to exploit the rule book in terms of forcing violations. Therefore, um, what did yung pagkasiri did Coach Ron try to bring out the thinking player in you as a coach and as a player that later on you saw with the triangle offense, which is a read and react offense, diba? What you do, what the defense does will dictate what kind of pass you do, how you cut, and so on and so forth. So the question is, did that solidify your thinking about making sure that your players would read the situations well before hindi na tayo bara-bara basketball? Pag-isipan muna natin na maayos to. Ganun ba yan, Coach?
Well, as I have said, no, I try to dig deep in watching a coach. No? Like Coach Ron Jacobs, I studied his style. So he's very good in game management. He won't make a mistake in the game. So that gave me a different perspective of coaching. Yes, you have to like players fouls, timeouts, minutes, off the bench, like when to rest a player, when to use zone, and all this. No? He he manages the game that you won't be able to see a weakness like all throughout the game. That's how I see the style of Ron Jacobs.
Mm-hmm. And then kay Coach Tim, anong...
Coach Tim is a combination of everything.
Mhm.
Not only game management, it's combination of maximizing players, training, recruitment, and everything. No? I feel like the first talent that a coach should have is looking or seeing a potential in a player. It's like what's this? Seeing a talent. the other coaches won't see it, but you will see it. You already see what would become of this player. Uh, and I feel a coach should have that,
Mhm.
like a vision for a player. And coach Tim has that. He got Sonny Toss when Sonny was uh, in what level when he was in the amateurs, but he became a superstar national team player,
Right.
one of the elite players in the PBA, because coach Tim saw something how to maximize this player.
Right. Right. Before we go any further, we're going to field some questions from people. Yung colleague ko, si Pat Mayo. Uh, I have a question for Coach. Who does he consider as his toughest matchup during his playing years in college? Nako, bumalik tayo dito. Who does he consider his toughest matchup during his playing years in college and in the pros? Yan.
Well, okay, in college when I was playing for Mapua, of course, the Ateneo team is a powerhouse team, like 15 players can play. There's no developmental 12, 13, 14, 15th man. No? And like now, we do that as coaches. We have like solid 12 players and we have 13, 14, 15 as developmental players. During that time, like we have Joy Carpio, who's my arch rival during that time, Steve Watson. But Joy Carpio became my best friend. This is the godfather of my son. When we became teammates in Great Taste. Up to now, he's one of my best friends that really I admire and I have that I love so much. Yeah, the LaSalle team had Jay Lucido and Kenneth Yap. JRU or JRC at that time had Ed Merced.
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys I really like struggle playing against. Padim Israel was also part of the Ateneo team. Fritz Gaston.
Uh-huh.
It is a powerhouse team. So yeah, it's like that when you play them, you're gonna be playing against like they're assigned to me like probably 6, 7 of them. So that would give me really a tougher time.
Did you ever play against your brother?
Yes, in the Mika, in the
Wow.
amateurs. Yeah, he played for Crispa. I played for Toyota. I played for Frigidaire, Mandiesel. These are the teams of Toyota at that time. And he played for Crispa. We played
But,
against each other.
but when he was with Ateneo and you were Mapua, hindi kayo nagbantayan, Coach?
Well, hindi kami nag-abot. Hindi kami
Ah,
nag-abot. Yeah, natapos siya. He played 3 years, I think. And I started playing. He's not there anymore. So it is the time of Joy Carpio and Steve
I
Watson.
see. I see. Yeah, the
I,
last
I
time.
remember when we were playing against each other during the day that on that day that we're playing against each other. We came from the house together. We had merienda and ice cream and everything, and then went to Rizal Memorial. And then when we got inside, he went to the dressing room of Crispa. I went to the dressing room of Toyota. And then we saw each other again on the floor.
Okay. Sabi ni Coach Nash Rosella, I played for Coach Joel ni Coach Citibank. Ayan. Sabi ni Coach Nash Rosella yan, no? And then, tanong ni JT Garcia, Coach Joel, ay, parang nag-freeze yata yung coach na tingnan natin kung nandiyan pa si Coach. Technical difficulties po. Sandali lang po. Mukhang nawala na naman si Coach. Hintayin lang natin bumalik. Pero maraming salamat. You're watching Filoil Flying V presents Usapang Coaching with Coach Joel Banal. Ako po si Olivares, ang inyong host. Maraming salamat sa mga nanonood. Hintayin lang natin si Coach. Babalik siya. Okay. Sandali lang po. He had to log out. He will log in again. We want to thank all of you for watching our webcasts. I want to inform all of ayan na si Coach.
Sorry
Coach,
about that. I think I'm having a problem with my internet.
no worries, Coach. It's all good. I don't know if you caught the comment of Coach Nash Rosella. He said, I played for Coach Joel when he coached Citibank. Ayan.
Yeah. remember I was telling you about I was coaching in Camp Aguinaldo. That was my first coaching job. But
Mm.
that was my first coaching try. And then I coached Citibank. So Nash Rosella was one of the players there. That's where I
Right.
met. Yeah.
Marami din pala mga ibang coaches na nagmula sa inyo, Coach Joel, no? Okay. Uh, what made you decide to go to Ateneo? Tama ba, Coach, from Alaska, you left for Ateneo? Tama
No,
ba yan?
I from Alaska I left for the MBA. I chose
That's
Pasig.
right.
I had an opportunity. In fact, like there were several players interested in my services in that league, but I chose Pasig because I'm
Pasig. Yeah.
Pasig. Yeah,
Yeah.
I lived in Pasig since 1982. So yeah, I'm a Pasigueño.
Sila Bong Ravena yan, di ba? Tama ba, Coach? Bong?
Yes,
Bong?
I got bong on the second year. I got bong. So I started with Patrick Benedicto, Guido Babilonia, Gilbert Castillo, um, Roel Bravo, Jonathan De Guzman, and then I recruited Bong Ravena and Jay Magat and Dorian Peña for Pasig.
Si Bong kasi was my neighbor in Cubao. And actually, that's why I stopped rooting for the Metro Stars, no? Kaya lumipat si Bong. So, yun yung first team na sinundan ko, Coach Joel. Okay. From Alaska to Pasig Rizal, no? Now you had you more or less formed this team. Did your philosophy, your style of coaching adapt once more to this different league, this different team? Or did you stick to your guns?
Well, I in the beginning I didn't know like how competitive the league would be, right? So I was just trying to develop everyone, like looking at some weaknesses and trying to develop it and to maximize everyone. So, but as the tournament went on, I was having like I kind of felt how the tournament is gonna be. So I made adjustments. That's how I do things. No? I cannot see so far like Coach Tim does that. He knows the future. But me, I go like day to day, from day to day. I'm like Rambo. I live day to day. So yes, and then I make adjustments.
Right.
I thank God that I am able to adapt and I'm able to make adjustments and I'm able to see uh, what's best for that particular moment, and it has blessed me doing that, really.
You mentioned that you were blessed for doing that by the Lord, no? Okay. It's been an adventurous coaching stint for you, NCAA, and then PBA, and then MBA. Your next stop would be Ateneo. Tama na ba yung timeline natin, Coach?
Yes, after the MBA disbanded. And then I went to enroll. I enrolled pala at AIM. I took up ME Master in Entrepreneurship. And while I was studying, an agent called me, and it's like Talk and Text was looking for an assistant coach who would assist the American coaches like Bill Bano and Paul Woolford at that time. So while I was in school, I had to may I go out. May I go out, ma'am. So I went to a meeting with a group of Talk and Text with MVP and his group. No? So I went to that meeting, and then before I know it, I was a candidate to the head coaching position of Ateneo. So I felt like that was a test for me. If I pass this test, then I have a shot at the head coaching job in Talk and Text. So thank God we won a championship on my first try, and then went to the finals on the second year, and I concentrated on coaching in the PBA already. After that.
I remember during your interview with the panel that would decide who would be the head coach, there was that very famous quote of yours: "Somebody has to stop France." Did you have even right when you apply? When technically, sorry, so you're now applying for the job. Did you have a game plan that How did it go? Did you present the game plan to stop Lasal? Paano nangyari yan, Coach?
No, I think, okay, that was a very, very good story and that I tell people, if I had a chance. Uh, on that final interview, we were called to meet at Rockwell. I think it was Rockwell. So
Yes, it was.
there were the three of us remaining in the short list. There was Sandy Arespacochaga, myself, and June Reyes. So in alphabetical order, we were waiting. Like I went out of my class to go to that final interview. So I thought it's gonna be short. So I go out again. I thought I would be able to go back to the class. So first we were waiting, and then some of the VIPs in that meeting arrived, and then it started. So like we waited for an hour before it started, and they called Sandy Araspaktaga because alphabetical order. So they called Sandy, and he was interviewed for an hour. So I'm missing my class for 2 hours already. So I had to go back. So I had to hurry, and so I was being impatient already. And I felt like I don't have a chance in this job because I'm competing against two Ateneans like Sandy and June Reyes, right? So I said, why am I still waiting here? I should go back to my class. But after Sandy, I was called in, and they asked questions. I think 2 or 3 questions, and one of the questions was, why do you want to coach Ateneo? That was the question. And my answer was, well, somebody has to stop Lasal, somebody has to stop Franz Warren. That was my answer. And then they asked another question, and then they said, thank you, that's it. 3 questions. So I went out of the room and I congratulated Sandy Arespacochaga because he was interviewed for an hour. I was asked 3 questions. I said, I have no chance to get this job. So, and then I shook his hand. I said, congratulations, you're going to get this job. And I said, if ever you need my help, I told Sandy, I remember that. I'm available. I will help you. I will help you. So I went back, and then in the evening, I was in church actually. And after, when I went out, I had a lot of missed calls. I didn't have the name, but it's just number. And after a while, the number called again, and I answered it. It was MVP calling me for several times. So he told me that, he congratulated me. You're now the next coach of Ateneo Blue Eagles, he said. So, okay. So that was November. Oh, I think that was December 14 or 13. That was the day they're gonna announce it. That was December 13th. The 14th, they're gonna announce it. So they announced it. And I think after Christmas, during that break, I already went to Ateneo. I wanted to see everyone. I wanted to see, I think there was a Christmas party with Coach Jolipa there. And I have so much respect for Coach Jolipa. So I feel there's nothing in between us, right? So I shook his hand and I said, I hope I can do a better, I can continue what you have started in Ateneo. So we talked. And then I think I saw JC Intal. There was practice sessions for the recruits. So that's JC Intal, Doug Kramer, and several guys. And I saw them, I watched them. And then we started practice in January. And I remember I talked to Enrico Villanueva. I didn't know, but I really believe that it's guidance from the Lord that I had to talk to Enrico first. I said, who's the alpha here? Who's the alpha? So I was thinking that way. So I approached Enrico, and then I talked to him. I said, Enrico, this is your last year, right? Am I right? Yes, coach. And then I went, I will help you win a championship if you help me. And he goes, yes, coach. So from that time on, I really felt, saw, experienced the support of Enrico from day one to up to the time that we won that championship. So he was very instrumental in that championship.
That's a very interesting anecdote, Coach Joel. No, have you tried that approach with any of your previous teams, like talking to the alpha dog within the team?
Well, I do that. Now, some teams have like a couple, so I have to do that too. No? When I became head coach of Talk and Text, Asi was the main man, but Jimmy was the point guard. So you really have to, you know, uh, we really need to be connected. No? Harvey Carey was a dominant force also during that time. And Vic Pablo, of course. Vic Pablo was the main local. And Bong Ravena and Patrick Fran, these were the main locals then. So I had to really, yeah, that's my style. I mingle, I join them. It's like there's a relationship. I wanted that.
Right.
It's not just I'm the coach and you're my players. So I'm the boss and you're my subordinates. It's not that type. I even listen to their suggestions. So I know, like, my experience with Talk and Text. I tell them. I even tell them, if you wanted to play or go in the game, tell me. But it's my decision. But I want you to let me know. So my players have that freedom, have that relationship with me that they can tell me. Like I sub for them. Like after 2, 3, 4, 5 possessions, they would come to me and say, "I'm ready, coach." Then sometimes I would, sometimes I won't. But most of the time, I want that they're ready and they wanted to go. Yeah, so that helps me.
That's a very interesting philosophy, no? You know, a lot of coaches, they excuse me, they're good with the X's and O's, but they forget a key ingredient in coaching, which is man management. In your opinion, coach, how important and how overlooked is man management?
All right. Okay. After I retired, I started to do I don't know if you heard of this, coach to coach, coast to coast. I was trying to share the little that I know to the coaches in the provinces. I went to Cebu twice. I went to the Bicol region twice. I went to Batangas twice, and I wanted to share to them a lot of my experiences. I used to tell them that if you want X and O's, how to beat a zone, how to beat a press, how to do this, the internet it's so easy. Like you can watch a lot of things, but the experiences are important too. So I'm here to share with you the experiences that I have. You might pick up a thing or two from my experiences. No? So I do that. And what I tell them is, please remember, to the coaches, like when I share this, I say, please remember that you're dealing with people. It's important to do that. I emphasize that. That's why the first hour of the workshop is about coaching philosophy. I want to impress to them that it is important that you don't forget that you're dealing with people, meaning they have feelings, they have different personalities and everything, and that's as important. It's not just a thing that you put here and put there or trade or whatever. There are people, and I realized that probably in my career, or if not in the middle or late in my career, but it became so important to me that coaches are dealing with people. So they're important probably more than winning. You know? Dealing with people, giving them confidence, respecting them, giving them a chance, maximizing them, guiding them is more important than probably than winning. That's what I found out.
Coach, you are also known as a builder of championship teams. You like picking up teams that are not doing very well and then leading them to the promised land. Case in point, Mapua, Ateneo, or even Talking Text.
I'd like to call myself a turnaround coach.
Yeah, okay, let's use that term, the turnaround coach. Um, is it a challenge? Is it a calling for you to resurrect lost causes or floundering,
I love challenges from day one, like because I have the middle child syndrome.
Oh,
Conrad, Conrad and Koy, I'm in the middle, so I have to prove myself to Conrad. I have to beat him at some point. Like whatever we play, whatever game we play, like chess or basketball or whatever it is, I was trying to like beat him or go to his level. No?
mhm.
And at the same time, I don't want Koi to catch up with me. So I have to protect that. So so that's why I'm very competitive in everything. In everything, I'm very competitive. That's why the bigger the challenge, the more I love it. So like if a team needs a turnaround, I would love that. I would love to do that.
Mhm. It seems that we have a few more questions, no, in our Usapang coach with Coach Joel Banal. It seems that the 90s brought, leading up to the first years of the new millennium, brought a lot of success for you, Coach. Grabe, parang tuloy-tuloy. Started the 90s, Mapua, then Alaska, and then with Ateneo and Talk and Text. Um, when you look back at it now, that was like almost 20 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. That when you
That
look back
run,
at
that
it, and
that run.
this pandemic, I'm sure, has given you time to reflect.
Mhm.
How do you look at that incredible run? And I'm not saying it's over. I'm not. But when you look back at it, what do you tell your kids, and all that?
Well, that run was really like unforgettable. I won 4 championships in like a little over a year.
Mm,
So I started with the PBL,
mm,
won a championship. I think that was, if I'm not mistaken, like a May or August, and
mhm,
then the UAAP championship in
mm.
October, and then there's another championship for Ateneo, the Father
Mikaba,
Martins. Oh,
Mikaba,
Mikaba, yeah, Mikaba, the
Mikaba.
Mikaba championship. That was unforgettable because we're down by 19 points at the half,
Yes.
and we won by 19. So that was a 38-point turnaround. So that's unforgettable. Without Enrico, without that was after the graduation of the seniors.
Mm,
I had Rich Albers and the new guys, JC and Don Kramer. And we were down by 19. I remember during that championship game. And we beat the other team by 19 points. Let's not talk about the other team anymore. Uh, so it was unforgettable. And then the Talk and Text Championship. We won the Talk and Text Championship on the eve of MVP's birthday.
wow.
That was unforgettable. That's amazing. Like tomorrow's his birthday. Game 6 was tonight, and we beat Coke on that game 6, 4 in a row. So we were down 0-2, and then we won 4 in a row.
Mhm.
So to win the championship on the eve of MVP's birthday, that's something. But unforgettable also is the Ateneo Championship. Ateneo Championship.
Okay, there are some questions here from our friends from the media. Tanong ni Ivan Stewart Saldahenyo. Ang tanong niya, Coach, you've probably been asked this before, but nevertheless, what is it like to be one of the few coaches to win a PBA, PBL, NCAA, and UAAP title? Yeah, I know you've been asked this before, but
Uh,
nevertheless.
I think, well, uh, things written about me, like this championship. So, but I never really like ambition or aim, or it was a goal of mine to win in every tournament. It just so happened that I became coach in the NCAA, then I became coach of Ateneo in the UAP, in the PBL, and then in the PBA.
Mhm.
It was never in my mind, but I'm thankful to God that his faithfulness. I can't help but mention this, that his faithfulness to me in my life. The Ateneo Championship. In fact, I want to say, because you were asking me about this run, right? You were
Mm.
asking me about this run before I answered the question. Uh, on that night, on that evening of the ring ceremony, when Ateneo was giving the rings, the championship rings, they made me say something. So I had to go in front of the crowd and the Ateneo fans and say something. And I said, this is really like what I said. If I remember it right, I said, now I have no doubt that that God destined Ateneo to win the 2002 championship. I am just so blessed that He made me a part of it. So it's like it's a destiny, but God is so good to me and He's so faithful that He made me join the team to enjoy this blessing of a championship after 14 years. So I don't want to take credit. I just want to give glory to God. He really was orchestrating this from day one. So I'm so blessed to be a part of all these championships. I'm so blessed to be a part of different championships in different leagues. And I'm happy that with the blessings of God, I was able to do that. Up to now, that's good memories. Good memories. Like during the quarantine, when they first posted the Ateneo, I think it was the game against UE. I think that was the first one. So I watched it, and it's like I felt so good. I was like relieving everything, every feel of the pressure and the stress and the happiness and the joy of winning a winning that knockout game and going to the finals and facing LaSalle there. It's like a dream to me, you know. The feeling was alive again when I was watching that game. So every every championship, probably every crucial game, every big game is a part of me up to now. It's I can still feel it, and I love I love recalling every moment.
Mhm. Okay, that answers the question for our friend Ivan. There's another question here coming from our friends from the media. Coach Joel, alam natin, mahirap tong tanong na to, pero subukan natin. If you were to rank your biggest championships, ano yung nasa number 5, number 4, number 3, number 2, and number 1? Nako, mahirap yan, Coach.
Uh,
Para ka namimili ng anak eh.
Pakiulit mo, ibig sabihin, degree of difficulty or degree of happiness?
Ano yung top 5 championships mo in order? Number 1 being the most incredible, momentous, historic, or whatever. Ayan.
Oh, they're equally like three championships that are equal. The talk and text championship, because it was so difficult. Like we played Alaska in a best of 5 in the semifinals, and we had I think 3 overtimes in that series against Team Cone. Like who can beat Team Cone? Like so it was so tiring, and it's like I was spent when we started the series with Coke against Chot Reyes, another wow. So that was so difficult. Like that's why we're down 0-2 in the beginning, and we're blessed to like the support of management and everyone else in the team. Like us, they really like bought in, and we can still do this. We cannot give them a win number 3. That's the goal. We cannot give them win number 3. So that's why it was a 4 in a row, won games to win the championship. That was difficult. But the Ateneo Championship also was difficult. Like we're down 3-4 in the beginning of the second round. We're down 4-5 in the beginning of the second round, and we have 5 games to go, and we need to win all 5 games.
That's right.
And then we had to beat UE twice in the semis, and then we were 1-1 rubber match in game 3 against LaSalle. Like they were in the finals for 9 consecutive years. This was their 9th finals appearance in a row, and this was their 5th championship, going for the 5th championship in 5 years. So it's difficult. Like again, I'm blessed that we were able to win that championship. And again, the back-to-back championship for Mapo. The second one was against Sambeda, was buzzer beater by Benny Cheng. So you don't know who's going to win that game till the last second of the game. So those three championships were equally memorable, stressful, but fulfilling. It's very, very, very fulfilling. So it made me like look up to God and say thank you. So it's not me, it's not by might nor by power, but by your spirit and your grace. So I have to say that because those were really like I cannot imagine how I could have like won those championships.
We're down to our last few minutes with Coach Joel Banal. Coach, that move where you put Rich Alvarez on Mike Cortez, how did it come about? What was that moment of inspiration to make such a move? And the second part of the question is, ano pa yung mga hugot plays mo na ganon? Whether Mapua, Pasig, Talk and Text, Citibank with the Nash Racela, ano yung mga hugot moments na yan na dapat malaman ng tao?
Well, that's one memorable one, that move with Rich Alvarez there. Well, it was a plan for the finals, actually. If I needed it in game one, I could have used it. But again, by the grace of God, we didn't need that. Okay, we needed the defensive stops of Larry Ponasier twice against Mac Macardona on game one. That's what we needed. In game two, we lost on being singly. But in game three, that was the plan. I was trying, that's why I was using Sani Tadeo all throughout the game because I needed him in that stretch of the last 7 minutes of the game. So by watching the tapes, I saw that at some point, Mike Cortez would take over the game. And I watched the championship game of Ateneo the previous year that Rich Alvarez guarded Ren Ritualo in some games, you know. So I know that he can guard Ren and he can guard Mike Cortez. So it's just a matter of timing. Are we leading or are we in foul trouble? Or what's the complexion of the game at the moment? So it really like everything was like just like put into place. And I think last 7, 6, or 5 minutes of the game, and I kept on asking my assistant coach Sandy Pakuchaga, how many fouls, how many. So I was monitoring that, and at that last 5 minutes, I knew Mike is gonna take over the game. So I put Rich Alvarez on him, and it worked. No, it worked. It was a strategy that was planned.
That's right. So ano pa yung mga ibang magic bunot moments mo throughout your coaching career?
Oh, I remember against Sambeda. We were, I think, last 30 plus minutes, seconds of the game, we were up by 1, Sambeda ball, and they set a play, and in the process, we fouled Boy Beats Victoria with 13 seconds remaining, and he went to the free throw line, sank both free throws, and they were down by 1 point with 13 seconds to go. So we inbounded the ball, they full court press. When we inbounded the ball, they almost stole it, and the ball went to the sideline. And I had a chance to make a substitution. So I put in another point guard, Tadi Ramos. I put him in, and so that there will be a mismatch. You know, that their number 2, the off guard would be guarding a point guard. So I felt like we won't have a problem handling the ball and then bringing it front court. So I did that, and it was good. It was a good move. So we were able to inbound, and Tadi Ramos was able to beat his man because a number 2 guy was guarding him. No? He's a lot quicker than the number 2 guy. So he was able to beat him to the basket, and he was free. The man of Benny Cheng helped to contest his shot, and when he missed, Benny Cheng was all alone, rebound and put back, and after that, the buzzer. So that was the move that I was so happy about. But it's by the grace of God. That spur of the moment. That was a decision made at that moment. But the one with Rich Alvarez was already a plan. It was a strategy. But this one was an impromptu, on the spot decision.
Any more of those instances, Coach? Whether talk and text or your PBL teams?
Well, a lot more, but we'll run out of time.
Di na bale.
I love to talk about this. Yeah, I really love to talk about this because it's one, it's glorifying to God, and it makes me happy. I mean, there's a sense of fulfillment and a sense of joy.
And second to the last question, obviously your faith forms a lot in terms of the way you coach and who you are as a person. How important is it to coach as a Christian gentleman, as a someone who sticks to his principles now? Because, coaching exactly is not the easiest of professions. There are all these temptations, whether it's winning at all costs or doing this and doing that just to win a game. But can you talk about how your faith forms an integral part of who you are as a person and as a coach?
First and foremost, I think a coach cannot fake anything. He cannot fake that he knows, because the players would know that if he knows or if he doesn't. He cannot fake that. He cannot fake uh, uh, the way he leads the team. It's part of his personality, his beliefs, his philosophy. In life cannot be different on the court when he's coaching, or in his relationship with his players, with management, with the people around him. And I'm so blessed that I have this guiding moment, a guiding star in my life. I have my faith in Jesus Christ that has uh, guided me all throughout, and that's what I'm trying to do. That's I'm trying. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to be myself on and off the court. That's why I tell my players right off, like when I first meeting, I'll tell them that I am a Christian. I believe these things, and I cannot. I'm sorry, but I cannot separate my basketball from my faith, or my faith from my basketball. This is uh, what you see is what you get. This is who I am. But one thing I guarantee you, I will respect you and I will be loyal to you. So that's who I am. You will be my friend if you want to, and if you want to be just acquaintances, it's fine with me. But if you want it on a professional level, player and coach, fine with me. But if you want to be my friend, I want to be your friend. So that's who I am, and I'm happy that I was able to do that and be successful. Uh, my faith in what I believe in, and really how I deal with my players, how I deal with games, how I approach games, how I approach losing, and how I approach winning. And it helped me so much. It helped me so much, especially during the times when you're really down, like when you lose a game that you think that you're so stupid to do things that made bad decisions in the game. It's like you're so down, but my faith kept me hopeful that tomorrow is another day, that His mercies are new every morning, that all I need to do is get up in the morning and start watching video, watching tapes, and start planning for the next practice, and try to see different things that I can use for us to be able to be competitive. So that helped me a lot in my life and in my career as a basketball.
Okay, second to the last question. But before I get to that question, I want everyone to know that I was with Coach Joel when he was a consultant for the Bataan Risers, and I was their writer, their media officer. But before that, the I know that he was also consultant to Mapua, but I recall that during the launch of the late Baby Dalupan's book, The Maestro, at the Ateneo, he was with his older brother, Conrad. Therefore, here is the question. When you led the Ateneo to the championship in 2002. I know that your brother missed out on the championship. He missed out on it, and when he was playing for the Blue Eagles. Did the two of you talk about anything like, Kuya, para sa'yo to, meron bang ganun mo, feel-good moment? Naghahanap akong kwento.
Actually, maganda yung tanong mo. Actually, nakalimutan kong sabihin sa kanya na para sa kanya yun. Kasi sinabi ko yun para kay Coach Jolly pa, para kay Wesley Gonzalez, para kay Paul Tanchi, para kay Rainier Season, those who didn't win the previous game, that they had a sorry loss against Lasan. So I publicly said that this is for you, this championship is for you. So good that you reminded me. I forgot to tell my brother that was for him. But his son was part of that championship, though. So that did it. No, it's for him because he's happier that his son was a part of that championship team, even if he didn't win the championship when he was in Ateneo.
The reason why I asked that, no, because I really think that they should have won one. Lalo na the late Toy Dalupan, they were teammates, and Toy should have won also something with his dad, no? And I was a kid. I was 7 years old, something like that, when my uncles would bring me to the games and watch, no? So is it safe to say that that was also for your older brother?
Oh yes, of course. He was probably happier than me. Yeah, he was happier. He was happy for me. He was happy for me that I won it in my first try, and he knew the stress and the pressure that I went through in that season from start to finish, and he was happy that it's all over and we won the championship, and he's happy that his friends congratulated him for our victory. And I know he's so proud of what I have accomplished.
Nakarelate din siya, no, Coach? No?
Yes.
Sa hirap.
Yeah.
All right. The last question that we will pose for Coach Joel Banal dito sa Usapang Coaching from Filoil Flying V Sports. Coach, this is on the spot lang. You said that you'd be back if something excites you. And I don't mean to put you on the spot. I'm doing this with all due respect. What would excite you to return to a head coaching position?
Okay, I'll give you two examples. Okay.
Oh.
When I went back to Alaska to be the assistant of team again from 2007 to 2011. Okay. There was an offer by Happy Toothpaste. Jack Wang from Cebu came all over from Cebu to Manila to ask me if I wanted to accept the invitation to coach their team. I got so excited, you know why? Because that was the rookie year of Gabe Norwood.
Wow.
So I kind of saw him, what I can do with him, and what we can accomplish together. So that excited me. But unfortunately, Alaska was I think in a good run during that time that I was needed in the coaching staff on a full-time basis. Another opportunity was when FEU invited me to coach their team. And I went to their practice and I saw Terence Romeo first time. I saw him already in high school, but I saw him first time in practice. There was a beep test during that practice, a beep test. And like everybody was done except Terence. Terence was still running like 2, 3, 4 levels more than the others. And that excited me. Like this boy is so good. This guy is so good. And he's so hardworking and dedicated and devoted and everything. And that excited me. I said, yeah, I was thinking already what I can do, we can do together, in FEU. So those are two examples of the things that would excite me. Probably the players that I would coach or or the teams that I would coach, the management, or I don't know, but I gave you an example of two instances that excited me to go back to coach.
Very interesting answer from Coach Joel Banal. So, Coach, maraming salamat sa iyong panahon para dito. And who knows, if God willing and if you're willing, we can do this again because naintriga ako. Ang dami natin pwede pang pag-usapan.
Dami-dami pa, actually.
Talaga. Pero, Coach...
over a cup of coffee.
Sure. But teka, may pahabol. Do you think any of your kids will be bitten by that coaching bug?
Well, I know my kids are exposed to basketball from when they were like 2, 3, 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I know they know basketball, and I will not be surprised if one or two, a couple of them would be into coaching. I know like Juan is very much into basketball. Only my second son, Miguel, who's a full-time architect, who's not into basketball. But Juan is into basketball because he's in the Banal. Gabriel, you know that he's a very cerebral player. And Rafael also, he's very, like when you talk to him, it seems like he knows more than I know. So in basketball or in everything. So because he was exposed early, he went to college in the US and he was independent at a very early age, like I think 16 or 17. He was already independent by himself and then making all the decisions. That's why I feel like he's in a different level when it comes to making decisions and thinking and knowing a lot of things and information. So I will not be surprised if one or a couple of them would be into coaching.
All right, there you heard it from Joel Banal, all these insights and what he learned from the people who mentored him along the way and how he formulated some of these ideas to help win championships for some of his teams. For Filoil Flying the Sports Presents, ako po si Rick Olivares. Coach Joel, maraming salamat po. Any last words to frontliners o kung sino man?
Well, let me thank you for having me. I got excited, and when I talk about these things, I thought I'd forgotten basketball, but at some point it all will come back and again build memories. And I thank you for doing that, for inviting me, having me over. So I would just like to remind again, probably parting words to the coaches, the inspiring coaches. Please do not forget that you are dealing with people. Respect is so important. Being mindful of the others' feelings and this is so important. Probably I missed some of those moments, but I regret missing them. But now I know that dealing with players, dealing with management, dealing with people, fans, and everything. It's you're dealing with people. It's important. It's very important. Thank you.
There you have it. Coach, maraming salamat. God bless and good night. I hope to see you soon again. Regards to the family, Coach. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Okay, good night, everyone. Thank you for watching.
Good night.
Bye-bye.